Hi, and welcome to Rise, Heal, and Grow. I'm Leah M. Hill, and this show is a podcast production of Apollo Sunrise Center, which is a health, wellness, and spiritual retreat center in Merrimack, Massachusetts. On this show, we shine the light on those who nurture wellness and inspire positive change. My guest today is Laura Degelmann. She is a sound healer and the founder of Soulful Notes Sound Healing. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad you're here today because not only are we going to talk about your work and what you do and how you started, but you're going to give us a little demo too,
Yes,
a little
I
demonstration so that will help for people to understand what it is that you do. So first, let's start talking about, how you got started in this. You have a very varied career path, and you have a lot of different things that you do. But can you just help us understand what you do and how you got into sound healing?
Absolutely. So my full-time job is I am a teacher. I am an elementary STEM teacher, and I do the sound healing as a side gig. And I've been doing sound healing now for about 3 years, and I got into it from my teaching career in a very sort of roundabout way.
Wow.
I was discovering that I was in a place in my job that wasn't the best fit for me anymore. And that was really hard for me to finally admit. I'd been there for a really long time, and it wasn't really until COVID where we all kind of stopped and paused and reflected.
So. I think a lot of people did a lot of reflection on COVID and made career changes. Yes.
And so I realized that if I wanted to stay in teaching, I needed to find something new, which is exactly what I did. I found a different teaching position. And I also knew that leaving that one position and going to another, I had a lot of healing to do.
Right.
And I kept wondering how that healing was going to take place and what form it was going to take. And as soon as I started that new job, I started getting a ton of advertisements for sound healing certification.
So you were not even aware of this before?
I had kind of heard about sound healing, but I didn't really know what it entailed.
Okay.
And I finally said, okay, universe, you're giving this to me all day long, every day. So I started researching, and as soon as I started reading about sound healing, I knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue.
Wow. And what attracted you to it? Is it like a connection with your science background or healing? How did this even connect for you?
Yes, in a way. So for me, I realized that sound healing encompassed a lot of things that were really important in my life. The science piece of it is fascinating.
Okay.
I had started learning about spiritualism, so that element for me personally comes into sound healing. But I was a music kid growing up. And I had just let it go to the wayside as I started my teaching career.
Interesting.
And ironically, or not so ironically, a friend and I had started talking about how do we get music back into our life.
Wow.
And
then this shows up.
This shows up.
And I love that when the universe just keeps repeating over and over and over again until you actually get it and take action on it. So that's what you did. You signed up for this course or this certification, is it?
Signed up and started learning about it, bought the bowls, and I knew that when I bought the bowls, it couldn't just be for me. That I had to do something with it. I had to share this with other people. And that's how Soulful Note Sound Healing was born.
Wow. And that's also what I think in my experience with experiencing your work doing the sound healing is that it affects you on so many levels. So let's talk about that. How does this even work as a healing practice or a tool? How does this work?
So the basic science of sound healing is that everything in the world vibrates.
Okay.
And it all vibrates at different frequencies. And everything has its own resonant frequency, which means it's that natural frequency it's supposed to resonate at. So this pertains to our bodies as well. Our organs resonate at certain frequencies, our cells resonate at certain frequencies as well. And there are lots of things in our lives that can throw those natural frequencies out of whack. So trauma, stress, illness, injury, and some people may think, well, what's the big deal about having a cell resonate at a frequency that it's not supposed to. The problem is that when you have a cell that's not resonating at its natural frequency, when it replicates, it will then replicate at that new frequency.
New frequency. Oh my gosh. So I can see what you're talking about here in the physical body. The cells in our physical body at our optimum level have a frequency that might be right for us. So it's different for you, is different for me. But within either of our bodies, if something gets lowered, I guess that's the way to say it, like the frequency gets lowered in even just one of those cells, and then it replicates, and then we have problems.
Yes.
Wow.
I kind of use the analogy of a symphony. When you go to a symphony, everybody is tuned to the same note.
Right.
But if you have the entire trumpet section tuned to a different note, you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause chaos in the sound.
Right.
And that happens within our body. So sound healing is a modality that helps recalibrate your body's natural frequencies and gets them back to that natural frequency it's supposed to be at.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you're talking about recalibrating our bodies on a physical level, and what about emotional too?
So emotionally, it will help with relaxation, sort of de-stressing. On a spiritual level, people talk about going to different energetic places and levels and
Having experiences. And,
absolutely, and connecting with a higher being or power, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So one of the things that I love about sound healing is that entry level into it can be different for everybody. Some people are looking for a more physical healing. Some people are looking for a more emotional healing.
Right.
Some people are looking for a more spiritual healing. And some people have no idea what it's about and just want to try it. But what I love is that it allows people to try it out on different levels.
Yeah. So that is fascinating, because I'm really intrigued by how it actually works. I mean, you're talking about the science of it, and let's say a person has, or let's say I'm under a lot of stress, right? So I have this frequency that has maybe lowered because I'm not feeling my best. Maybe I'm not feeling well. The sound healing will actually, what will it do with the cells in my body? Will it actually cause them to
So it's called entrainment.
Entrainment.
When you
Okay.
have a frequency that causes another frequency to get back on that same frequency, so that the frequencies will then match.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So-
And that's just the basic science of it. You could go deeper
I'm sure.
into our skin and the
Oh my gosh.
vibration receptors in our skin and
Right.
parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems and how sound healing helps to balance those out. I mean, it really is, sound is so powerful.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I love too that from what it sounds like, and we're going to get to see your little demonstration in a minute or so, but the entrainment works because the tools you're using, I would say, have like the pure frequency or the pure vibration, right? The pure
Yes.
sound.
Yes.
And so the entrainment happens when there's the illness or something in our bodies that isn't up to its optimal level. So our bodies will naturally match that.
Start to match
The
it,
pure.
yes.
So it has to start with that pure frequency, and then whatever's less than pure, let's say,
Yep.
will match
Yep,
that over
exactly.
time. So does it take time, or can things happen quickly?
Absolutely. It can take time. I mean, people feel things right away. So some
Okay.
people will feel a lessening of pain right away. Some people may feel, just a weight lifted off their shoulders. They feel much more relaxed leaving. They feel much more less stressed leaving.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Definitely relaxation, I think, is one of the big things. I mean, the ones I've experienced that you've led, it's like everybody just either in a comfy chair, couch, or lying on a yoga mat under blankets and just zoning out and just receiving, really. Just
Absolutely.
allowing themselves to receive the vibration, the sound, and the healing.
Yep, and that's where that sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system comes into play, where we're so stuck in fight or flight mode all the time. And so sound healing helps relax you and helps you get out of that fight or flight mode,
Right.
where you can get into a state of relaxation, where you can get into a state of meditation And when you get into a state of relaxation, you come out of that stress, that's naturally going to help your body heal. And then you
Right.
add the sound healing on top of that, and it's so helpful.
That makes sense because our bodies will heal naturally if there was no other interference, right?
Yes.
So if there was no other interference, our body will just do what it needs to do and take care of it. But what you allow us to do through this work is give us that moment to like let go, to know we're in a safe place.
Yes.
And we can just let go and receive it and heal in that way. Wow, great. So before we do your little demonstration, is there anything, we know that the experience is different. We're gonna do this, now on the air. It'll be on video and audio. It'll be different than what people might experience in person.
Yes. So if you have some headphones, now would be a great time to put them on.
That's a good point.
And so that way you can listen to the music with headphones.
Okay, so let's try it. We're gonna experience some of
Alright.
Laura Degelmann's sound healing now. You need me to move this? Okay. Anything we need to do to prepare, or can you just...
So if you want to get yourself to a relaxing state, whether that's sitting up or laying down, I'm going to encourage you to take some breaths. Breathe in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. And as you experience the sound, I say that sound healing has more to do with feeling than listening. So allow the sound to engage with your body in more than just your ears. So continue those nice relaxing breaths as we start. Begin to fade. Take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And just take a moment to notice, to see if even in that short period of time, your energy has shifted in any way at all. can open your eyes.
Thank you,
Just
Laura.
a little taste.
Yeah, that was so beautiful, and I love the resonance of these bowls. So I want to ask you as well about what these tools are that you're using, but I just can't help but notice that the entire energy of the studio changed. So we're not the only ones here in the studio today, and it's like everyone just kind of took a nice deep breath and allowed themselves to receive. And would you say that whether you're doing this in a group or you do private sessions as well, right? You do private sessions and in a group, that people receive whatever they need? Do they need to know what they're receiving for the healing?
Intentions are powerful, and it's helpful to come into a session with an intention for yourself. But again, some people come in and they have a physical need that they want help with, but they end up leaving with sort of an emotional aspect of it that they didn't expect.
Right.
And I always tell people, you don't necessarily get what you want, but you get what you need from the session. And when people leave there, feeling sort of surprised as to, oh my gosh, I just had this complete emotional release, that to me, that was more important in the moment than your physical need. Right. And the two are tied. I mean,
yeah, I believe that. Yes, very much. So some people might have different responses to this. Do you want to list some of the responses that people might have?
It's amazing how you could have 6 or 8 or 12 people attend the same sound bath, and they're all going to have a unique experience to it. Right. So I've had people tell me that they do feel energy in a part of their body where they've suffered an injury or had some trauma. I have had people tell me that they've cried and they've really released emotion. I've had people tell me that they've heard the music sort of swirling around their heads or that they've felt it move in different parts of their body. Sometimes that's tied to a chakra that might be blocked if you're a believer in chakras. And I've had people tell me they've had their guides come in, that they've seen their guides. And I've also had people tell me that they have seen their loved ones
on the other side.
On the other side.
Oh, wow.
During the sound bath.
Wow.
So it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what this can bring out for people.
Yeah, incredible. And I want to just know a little bit more about the tools you use, because this is just a small sample. As we know, you have a lot more. But maybe if you can tell us these particular tools that you used and how they work.
Absolutely. So these right here are crystal quartz singing bowls. This is my main instrument. I have 7 of them. And when we do sound healing, we really have 2 sort of modes of instruments and sounds that we think of. We think of activating sounds and we think of calming sounds. And as a sound healer, I have to make sure that I have the right balance of the 2. So the bowls, whenever you have sort of a drone that can last a long time, that's a very calming sound. You want more calming sounds than activating sounds. So your activating sounds are your gongs, your shakers, chimes, although some koshi chimes can be calming. So sometimes it becomes very individualistic on how you receive the sound. But like you don't want to start a sound healing session by just slamming a gong. Because for people with anxiety, that's not going to be good for them.
That could be very triggering.
Absolutely. So you have to make sure that as a sound healer, you are really thinking about when you're bringing instruments in, when you're playing instruments, and what you're bringing to the session.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful, because I know you have so many instruments, and just to get a little sample of it, but now that you've explained that, the difference between the activating and the calming, I can totally see how the resonance from these bowls that just played were so calming to, like I said, everybody here in the studio.
Absolutely.
It just, and I'm sure the sound was, resonating and bouncing off of the windows around us and maybe even going out to the street. We don't know,
Could be.
but it probably could be. But they are so powerful, and I notice you also play on the outside of the bowls.
I do, yes.
Yes.
So there's 2 ways. You can strike it or you can rub the outside of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, because that reminds me, when we were kids, we used to take water on the glass
Yes,
and make
it's-
that sound.
it's
So
the
this is the
same
same
exact
thing.
thing.
Yeah, of just making that kind of sound. But these particular bowls are tuned to a certain
Tuned to a certain
frequency.
note.
A certain note. Okay. Wow, this is incredible. I love this. So, so tell us a little bit about, is there a difference between having a private session with you and the group aside? I mean, does someone get more like individual attention of what specifically they're looking for? Okay.
Yes. So I do 2 different types of group sound baths. The first one would be sort of the community, where you would come to Apollo Sunrise
Yes.
and you would attend a sound bath with other people. And then I also do private group sessions. So if you can contact me and you can say, hey, I have 6 people, we want you to come to my house and do a sound bath. So I will absolutely do that as well.
Okay.
And then I do one-on-one individual sessions. And those, when we do those together, we're gonna get a little bit more into detail about you personally, medically, so that I can know what illnesses you might have had, what injuries you might have had, because for more individual sessions, I tend to use tuning forks, either directly on your body or around your body.
Okay.
So it's good for me to know any kind of injury or illness that you have had. And then we'll talk a little bit about what, if you've been to sound healing before and you know what instruments you really resonate with and you really like, we'll obviously add those to the session. But you can have more of a say in what you want me to play.
Right.
So it's almost like we do the tuning forks and then you get sort of a mini sound bath with it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us how we can find you. How do we reach out to you if we're looking for either of these opportunities?
Sure. So I have a website, www.soulfulnotes.com. You can find me on Facebook at soulfulnotes.com, and you can also find me on Instagram at soulfulnotes.com.
And we can find you at Apollo Sunrise Center. So Laura comes to Apollo Sunrise Center to share these community sound baths just about once a month or
Yes.
so. And you're building up quite a following there too. People are knowing and looking for your next offering, which is coming up in mid-September,
Yes,
right?
it is.
September 14th. And so if you can't make it that day, but you still want to experience this, just look in October, because Laura will be there as well. That's fantastic. And I don't know about you, but I've noticed that maybe in the last few years or so, there's been this like all of a sudden insurgence of sound healing and sound healers. It's all of a sudden become mainstream, where years ago, I mean, I never heard of it. I knew of maybe one practitioner who would travel around the country and do sound bowls, and it was like she was like this gifted person that was gifted this wonderful skills and talents, but now it's like everybody is a sound. So what do you think, what is the shift that you think is going on with that?
I think COVID really drove people to find new ways of healing outside of sort of the mainstream. And not that this is taking the place of that, but I think people really started understanding the importance of taking care of yourself and self-care and finding ways to relax and release and let go. You know, I always tell people who attend my sound baths, whatever you believe, at the very least, you gave yourself an hour of self-care. And I always have people take time to thank themselves and be grateful that they did this for themselves.
Right.
So, I mean, sound healing isn't new. It's been around for centuries.
Right.
So
but
many cultures use sound healing
Right.
to heal spiritually and emotionally and physically. And it's just, I think it's become extraordinarily popular for a few reasons. Number one, it's non-invasive.
Right.
You know, it's you just sit back and you listen. And I think people can feel effects of it immediately, which is reinforcing. And I love the fact that it's also tied in with other modalities. So people often will do yoga and have a little sound bath afterwards.
Right.
do an acupuncture sound bath with an acupuncturist up in New Hampshire. And so a lot of people will infuse Reiki with a sound bath. So it's something that's easily adaptable to combine with other modalities. And I mean, we engage in sound healing ourselves. We just don't even realize it. Everybody at some point in your life, you've gone onto the radio station or Spotify and you have found a song to either help raise your vibration and raise your spirit, or you found a song that matches your mood in the moment. That's sound healing.
Oh my gosh. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I never thought of it as sound healing. It's just that, hey, I'm in a good mood. I want to dance, or I want to clean my house, so I need something that's a little bit motivating and upbeat or something. But that absolutely makes sense. I love that. And I also love that this is a modality that's available for people who maybe say, I can't meditate, you know, I can't shut my mind off, I'm constantly thinking, or, you know, I can't just go into myself and try to empty my thoughts. But with this, what you do is, like you said, all they have to do is receive and listen. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about your grocery shopping list or anything, you know, it's like you can just still receive the healing no matter what.
Absolutely. I have a ton of people who fall asleep.
And
even though you fall asleep, you're still getting the healing from the sound waves. So
oh, that's beautiful. And is there any other last thing you'd like to share, maybe for, you know, the person who's like, I don't know, is this, you know, right for me? Or what if I get a headache? Or what if, you know, what if I don't like it? I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to share for someone who might be curious but not sure what to do next?
Sure. So if you're someone who's interested in attending a sound bath, it's kind of one of those things where you just have to jump in and do it. You just have to experience it. And not everybody loves it, and that's okay. And I always tell people, you're not going to love all these sounds that I play today. I always hope you find a lot that you like. I hope you find some that you love, but you're probably going to run into some sounds that you just don't like. And that could be associated with an energy blockage that's going on, but just give it a try and see what happens. And if you don't love it but still want to love it, then find a different practitioner, because we're all very different. I have my own style. I have my own instruments. If you take a sound bath with somebody else, they're going to have a different style, different instruments. That's true. So you can always go around and try to find somebody who you resonate with, really, their energy and your energy. And you know, just go in. And I once had a client, she was waiting to go into the sound bath, and I had explained to her what she was going to do. And she looked at me and she goes, well, what do you need from me? And I just thought that was a very generous question.
I wouldn't have thought of that either.
I said to her, I said, well, no one's asked me that before. So I took a second and I said, all I need you to do is be open.
Just be open.
Be open to the experience.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Well, those are perfect words to end by on this episode. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was wonderful. Thank you for allowing us to experience a little sample of your work and what you do. And thank you for joining us, whether you're watching or listening today on Rise, Heal, and Grow with Leah M. Hill, because we have lots more episodes coming up. Thanks.